Hello there. Once again, this is Anton from Anton Will Bay, and this is a little bit weird. These are comics that I got from the Javier collection, a fellow collector who passed away recently, which I've talked about. This is also the X-Men run from the Widow's collection that I purchased a while back. If you guys remember, I purchased a huge collection from a widow whose husband was a collector, passed away, and I never did get around to the X-Men books. And then I came up on this other collection from this fellow who passed away, and now I've got two lots of X-Men, and I haven't run through either one of them. And so I kind of put them together, and so what I'm going to have is I'm going to have multiples, and it's kind of going to be like a blend of two collections. I am literally going to put this one gentleman's collection who died 15 years ago and this guy who died just last month, and their collections are going to go together into one and kind of become my collection. And I wanted to start out, I've obviously got X-Men #1 here. I've got 3 copies of that. I also have X-Men Half, which is the Wizard Certificate of Authenticity thing going on. And this, I'm trying to think of when this one would have come out, but anyway, there it is. And let's kind of see what we got. I've got basically a solid run to the first 100, but I am missing a couple of issues. Most of the time, when these guys, there's just another cover of issue 1. Most of the time, if one person wasn't buying it that month, the other person did. So I've got like staggered, like, oh, they missed this run, but the other collector had it. So I'm just going through my X-Men issue 1 #1s. I have a bunch of these. I have a bunch more than this. I have my X-Men that I put together, but it's not as complete as these two collectors did. I'm not going to be able to like do duos of every single issue like that because sometimes they didn't. But I can tell you, the more recent collection I acquired, the guy was definitely a prospective type buyer guy. So whereas from the Widow's collection, I would have gotten 1 issue, I always get 2 from the Javier collection because he seems to always buy 2 if he can get them. Sometimes more, depending on if he thought the issue was going to be worth something. So here's X-Men #3, and I've got 4 of them. And I see this play out numerous times. I have X-Men #4, and I now have 3 copies of it. You know, stuff like that. It's a little bit odd. I'm glad to have it. Issue #5 comes only from the Javier collection. Whereas I get 2 issues of #6. And I get 2 issues of #7. I believe only 1 issue of #8, but it's a really good cover, so I'm happy with it. 8 and 9 are both, I guess, both from the Javier's collection. This guy, he bought doubles of this one, and I didn't have any from the other one. I guess I have 3 of those. Man, there's so many of them. I've got 2 issues of X-Men #10, a nice Mojo cover. 2 issues of 11, which I really love. In my opinion, X-Men art, as up and down as it has been, for this series is, I think, issues 1 through about 30 were the best X-Men art ever produced. That, to me, is the core team. That's how they should be drawn. That is their outfits. There's X-Men #12. That is X-Men perfected, in my opinion. I remember they made a poster of the whole like roster of every X book ever, and it said, "Oh, the best is yet to come," and it was all of these guys. And they were wrong. The best was here. This was the best. To me, this will always be the best. This is what everybody wants their Marvel Legends to look like. This is what the animated series was looking like. This is everybody's classic X-Men, in my opinion. There's issue #13. And even though there's been renditions, which I also enjoy, I don't feel like there's ever been a rendition that was better. X-Men issue 15. Only got 1 from Javier. This is issue 16. We got 1 from each. issue 17. Another one from each collector, that would be 18. X-Men 19. Once again, both collectors paid me off with issue 20. And just the covers we had going on here. Man, these covers, these are some of the best X-Men covers ever. Issue 21. 2 issues of 22. 2 issues of 23. Only 1 issue of 24. And that's sad because this is probably my all-time favorite X-Men cover. Gambit and Rogue. This cover is just, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's everything you want. There it is. I'm going to pull these down because those number ones took up a lot of room up there. Let's get those down. And both collections have yielded me an X-Men 25. Both with the hollow foil cover. And sometimes I notice one of them will be a direct edition, the other one will be a newsstand edition. But, you know, in this case, I don't know either way. X-Men 26. 2 issues of X-Men 27. 2 issues of X-Men 28, which is, old Sabretooth covers are just really good. I don't know, the way they drew him back then really floated my boat. I've got 2 issues of 29. I was very pleased. All of these come from Javier's collection. The more recent of the 2 is I get 3 issues of X-Men number 30, which is the wedding of Scott Summers and Jean Grey. And, you know, no amount of late 2000s X-Men bullshit will ever rob me of the joy of this issue. And yeah, you want to make Scott cheat on her with somebody else, whatever. I'll stop buying your book. I haven't bought it since then. But, you know, this was like the pinnacle. I was huge in the story at the time, huge into the book at the time. Scott was one of my favorite characters. Still is. We got X-Men 31. Oh, and Cuddle Team Leader gets knocked out. I got 2 issues of that with a great Spiral on there. I love Spiral. One of the harder Marvel Legends to get your hands on. But she was drawn so well back then. X-Men number 32. Wait. That feels really thick. I thought maybe there was another one in there. I guess it just feels thick. Maybe there... I'll bet you there's like a collector card or something in here. This issue feels really bloated. We got issue 33, another great Sabretooth cover. There was so much going on good with these Sabretooth covers back then. Issue 34. Absolutely nothing special about issue 34, except that it was the very first issue of X-Men, this comic that I ever bought. Just kind of a random pickup, and you know, it made my day. I had to backtrack a few issues. As soon as I read it, that's when I was backtracking and trying to figure everything else out. That's when I got into the wedding of Cyclops and Jean Grey. I was so thrilled. Everything was good. We've got 3 issues. I grabbed them on. 3 issues of 35. We've got a few issues of 36. I got 3 issues of X-Men 36. This is all from Javier stuff. The dude smelled money when Gen X was getting formed. He didn't want to be left out. This one I tracked down myself. That is I think one of my issues. These other 3 came from his collection. That he just bought extras. If he thought this series was, or this story arc was going to yield some amazing stuff, he bought extras, so he was ready. Not really the way I roll, but you know what? It works. I've got his stuff, and I will take care of it. X-Men 38, another great Gambit and Sabretooth cover. X-Men 39. I don't remember what's going on in this one. But I definitely remember what's going on in X-Men 40. This is Legion Quest Part 2. Legion Quest, of course, leading to the death of Xavier, which led to the Age of Apocalypse, which is the best X-Men storyline ever made. You could fight me on that. X-Men 42, we get kind of a lame comeback from the Age of Apocalypse. We got some good Exodus story where Colossus has joined the Acolytes, but it's not awesome. I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was kind of a letdown, especially after the Age of Apocalypse when we were like flying so high on some of this X-Men story stuff, and to come back into kind of a really, I don't know, a lame modern era. It was just kind of sad. I've of course got 2 issues of those. Each collector was good at getting those. This is X-Men 45. I believe it's X-Men 45. Yeah. This one was just a Javier issue. The other collector, the Widow's Collection, did not have that. Nor did it have the X-Babies, which I can understand because I hate the X-Babies. I remember buying this stuff off the newsstand. Gog and Magog, and I was not impressed. But it was still, X-Men was still decent at that point. And I've got 2 issues of those. I've got 2 issues of this. Let's see, what's our next issue? 49. This is one from each collector. Different bags, a little bit different shape. Looks like they're both newsstand, but those were from, each collector had me one of those. Each collector came up with a special number 50 anniversary event holo cover. Well, actually, no. Looks like one got the holo cover, one got the regular cover. Because this one has no holo stuff. This one definitely has some holo stuff going on. So I guess I got one of each from each collector. That's kind of cool. Another one of each from each collector. Let's see, issue 52. I think these are from the same guy because the bags feel really, really pretty much the same. And these are definitely from different collectors because these bags are totally different. But issue 53. The big Onslaught reveal, which I was kind of okay in. I wasn't like wild about this series. I was a much bigger fan of what was going on in regular Uncanny X-Men and regular X-Men. Even though I loved the art of the first, like I said, 30 issues, 34, 40 issues, whatever. I got way less interested in the later stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and pull these down. I don't want to get too deep up here. But we'll pick back up with issue 58, which I've got 2 of, one from each collector. I've got 3 of, 2 from one collector, 1 from the other. And I'm sure the double pack is Javier. He's tended to do that quite often. I noticed I've got some of these that got a little bow to them. That's all in Javier stuff. It was left in a garage for a while, kind of slumped over. They will, I hope, straighten back out. So I was a little sad about that, but what are you gonna do? The dude wasn't there to save it. Issue 58, Gambit vs. Magneto, and there was like 2 of those. Got another 2 issues of 59. I remember I loved Hercules back when he was a total dick. He was such a jerk. He was so delightful and entertaining to read. This is my favorite Storm's haircut, pretty much. I guess I was a big fan of Storm's haircut in the Age of Apocalypse, and they carried it over into the New World or the regular universe for a while. Issue 61, Juggernaut looking slightly large there. Issue 62, Wolverine Hong Kong story. This is the furry, no-nosed Wolverine I was not a fan of, nor am I a fan of these really, really bright neon colors. But if it's a Wolverine story in Hong Kong, you know it's going to be decent. So there you go. Issue 63, more Wolverine in Hong Kong. See, the animators, I don't know, they got crazy with Wolverine back in the day after he lost his adamantium. Cannonball, Legacy Virus, it's issue number 64. Children of the Atom, which just occurs to me now, like, isn't that what they call that one faction in Fallout? Anyway, there's 2 issues of issue 65, one from each collector, one from each collection. Issue 66, Zero Tolerance. I believe this is when they recruit Celia Reyes, but I am not positive. X-Men Operation Zero Tolerance. I don't see what part. Anyway, it's X-Men 67, and I have one from each collector. Obviously, a difference in the bags. Issue 68. I am a big Marrow fan. I even went back and bought the first appearance of her in Cable, just because I am a fan of the character. She totally deserves a Marvel Legend, and there she is in X-Men 68. I only have 1 issue of 69, provided from the Widows collection. Javier was letting me down at this point. But he did have 2 issues of 70 that each collector put up. We have 1 of each from each collector. See, I've noticed with Javier's stuff, I get like a slight bend with some of them. And with the Widows collection, if anything, I will have like a spine roll because of the way she packaged and stored them. She didn't have them in bags and backboards. She had them sometimes in bags, and she would slip something inside of them, a piece of cardboard, homemade, whatever, to try and stiffen them up and protect them as best she knew how. But it did end up causing a lot of spine damage on a lot of these. So even though I got a great deal from the Widows collection, I did have a few issues with that. I got 1 each of issue 72, some more Marrow. Just 1 of 73, pretty sure from the Widows collection. I've got 74 from Javier's collection. Also 75, issue 76. And maybe I will figure out whatever happened to Maggot, because I never did figure out where that character went. Issue 77. And then we have my first gap. I do not have issue 78. It just jumps to issue 79. And I believe this is the first hole I've come across in the series. And I'm pretty sure there's only a couple more. I'm going to move my camera slightly. There. We do have a big, fancy issue 80 chrome cover going on. Only 1 of those, I believe, from Javier's. We have issue 81 from both Javier and the Widows collection. Both from 82 from both collections. Issue 83 from both collections. Issue 84 from both collections. And I don't even think I was still buying these at this time. Issue 85 from both collections. I think I kind of weaned myself off regular X-Men, and I was really just focusing on Uncanny at the time. Here's both collections. Gave me 86. 87 just from the Widows collection. 88 just from the Widows collection. We get 89. These are both from Javier's collection. He tended to use smaller, tighter bags. And before we get too deep up there, I'm going to pull these down once again. Start off, we have issue 90, both from Javier's collection. We have 91 from Javier. Looks like 2 92s. I'm pretty sure this is 1 from each, because these weren't bagged and I had to bag them. So that's why they have the same bags as the other collection. 1 of each from 93. 94, 2 issues. 95. Now, once again, we hit a little whole, because I go from 95 to 98. I have 2 issues of 98. My goal for this series is I always just wanted to have the first 100 issues, and I'm extremely close. As you can see, I'm like 3 issues short, because I do have both issues of 99 from each collection. I have issue 100, the big one, and I think I was not a big fan of this. Then you get 101. This is the, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there, you can totally see it. This is the type of stuff that I kept running into problems with the Widow's collection. Some series were worse than others, but it is a nasty, nasty spine roll, and it's on quite a few books. It's kind of a bummer, but for the price I paid for those, I'm not upset, just disappointed. So there's issue 102 from each collector. 103 X-Men from each collector. Dumbest Call Out in the World, the comic that inspired the X-Men movie, X-Men 104. I say the dumbest call out in the world because what the hell? No shit. Where was the comic that inspired the movie? Well, duh. Who did anyone ever not know that X-Men was from a comic book? That's the most comic book one ever. Anyway, we have 105, 106, 107, 2 issues of 108. We have 2 issues of 109. These are very thick. I don't know what's going on with those. We've got 2 issues of 110, which I will flop over. Let's see, I have 1 issue only of 111. That is from Javier's collection. 112, or 112, sorry. We have 113. Looks like we have a little pile of annuals. Suddenly, all of a sudden. X-Men Annual number 3. That's an Uncanny X-Men Annual. Huh, what's that doing in here? Regular X-Men Annual 2000. X-Men Annual 97. Back in the days of Joseph. And then my knowledge completely breaks down, and I have no idea what's going on. But there is a couple other X-Men titles here. I'm just going to throw up, just so you know, just so you can see them. I've got the new X-Men, 151. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that just like a retitling of this, and it's just a continuation? I'm pretty sure it is. So I have new X-Men 152, 153, 154, 155, and here we go. Here's the shit. Here's where the shit starts getting to shit. 156. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on it, but the whole, okay, you're completely betraying Cyclops's character. After the X-Men movie, Cyclops goes from being like a selfless leader to a complete dickhead, and they just wrote him that way, I guess, because they felt like it. It's stupid. It's like making, I don't even know what, it's just stupid. Just change a character, basically who they are for no reason. Let's just make Peter Parker a dickhead. Peter Parker a dickhead for now. He can be a complete asshole, and we'll make, Wolverine. He's a punker now. Shit, I don't know. It just seemed like a complete dumb thing to do with such a well-established character design that you know what? I'm probably still pissed at X-Men for it, and I follow X-Men to a certain point, but even though guys like Ed Piskor now are writing X-Men, and as much as I love them, I promised myself I would never buy X-Men comics new, and I haven't. I got these from dead people, so it's my opinion. But I was so soured by a lot of it seemed like every issue was getting, the characters were becoming more jackasses. There was politically and social messages shoved in everything all the time. I got really tired of Marvel, and honestly haven't actively sought out Marvel since about that time period. Now I have a bunch of it, but like I said, it all comes in giant collections like this, and it's really hard for me to crack one of these newer books open when I have so many old ones that I still have yet to read. Anyway, makes me sound like a grumpy old man, but you know what? I probably am a little bit. X-Men 202, 201, 203, 204. I mean, there's big piles of these. I got a bunch of them. 205, 206, 207, 208, X-Men Legacy. I don't know if this is like a continuation of the same thing. Is this the same book with a different like subheading? I don't know. But I got 208, 209, 210, 214, and that's all the X-Men I got. That's my complete everything X-Men. Well, not everything X-Men. That's basically what the basic X-Men line. I don't have like X-Men Unlimited stuff. I haven't done a video of that. I do have a big pile of those. And some other X titles. These I thought were all pretty much the same series. Pretty much. I'm not positive how this breaks down, you know. But I assume if I'm way, way wrong or way, way right, somebody will let me know. Anyway, that's my story, and thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you later. Bye.